You ever see a super cheap flight online and just think, what's the catch? Well, today we are finding out. We're going to break down a really popular budget route, Thai Air Asia, from Colombo, Sri Lanka, all the way to Bangkok, Thailand. We'll find out exactly what you get for your money on this 4-hour flight. And yet, this is the number that makes you stop scrolling. $110 to get from Sri Lanka to Thailand. It seems way too good to be true, right? Well, it is true. But, it comes with some trade-offs. So let's dig in and see what those are. So our mission here is simple, to give you a really clear, honest look at the entire journey. We're going from the check-in desk in Colombo to the arrivals hall in Bangkok, and we're going to cover every little detail so you can decide if this flight is right for your next big trip. Okay, let's start with the basics. First up, we're covering the deal itself, the route, the airline, and of course, that price that makes this such a tempting option for so many people. Now, this isn't just some quick hop across the border. We're talking about a flight that's almost 4 hours long, covering about 2,400 kilometers on the workhorse of the skies, the Airbus A320. That's a good chunk of time to be in the air, which makes that onboard experience really, really important. And that's really the key, right here. This flight is a crucial, low-cost bridge between South and Southeast Asia. For anyone backpacking or just traveling on a tight budget, this connection completely opens up the map, making a big, multi-region trip way more affordable. All right, let's get this journey started on the ground. Next up, we're looking at the departure from Colombo's Bandarnaike International Airport. The airport experience can really set the tone for the whole trip, so let's see how it does. So Colombo's airport, it's pretty efficient. It gets the job done. You'll find everything you'd expect. Duty-free, places to eat, lounges. It's usually a pretty smooth experience, but it is worth knowing that it can get seriously crowded during those peak travel times. So maybe give yourself a little extra time. And boom, our first score is on the board, an 8.2 out of 10 for Colombo. That's a very respectable start to the journey, reflecting a solid, efficient airport that just might be a little packed sometimes. Okay, now for the part you've been waiting for. What's it actually like on the plane? In this section, we are covering everything from the moment you step on board. The boarding process, the seat, the service, the whole shebang. Let's kick this off with a major positive. AirAsia boards by groups. And even with about 180 people on this A320, the whole process was amazingly fast and organized. No standing around in those long, frustrating lines at the gate. It was great. And that efficiency earns a really strong 8.3 out of 10. It's such a good feeling to get settled into your seat quickly without any drama, and honestly, they just nailed it here. Okay, let's talk about the seat. Now, this is where it gets interesting. What you need to look at here is the seat pitch, 29 inches. To give you some context, a lot of full-service airlines give you 31 or even 32 inches. A couple of inches might not sound like much, but trust me, on a 4-hour flight, you feel it. And that is definitely reflected in the score, a 7.2 out of 10. Look, the seat is fine, it's perfectly acceptable, but it is tight. This is probably the single biggest trade-off you make for that super low ticket price. It's functional, but it is not luxurious. So when it comes to service, AirAsia uses that classic buy-on-board model. What that means is nothing is free. Not water, not snacks, not hot meals. Everything costs extra. That said, they do have a menu you can buy from, and the food is actually known for being pretty good for an airline. And for entertainment? Well, you are the entertainment director on this flight. There are no screens in the back of the seats, so you've got to make sure you've downloaded all your favorite shows, music, or podcasts to your own phone or tablet before you get on board. And this is our lowest score of the whole review, a 6.5 out of 10. I mean, it's pretty standard for budget airlines, but the total lack of any provided entertainment is a pretty big drawback on a flight this long. After cruising across the Bay of Bengal, we're finally on approach into Bangkok. This next part covers the last leg of our journey, the arrival at Meaung Airport. A smooth exit is just as important as a smooth start. Meaung is built for this stuff. It's a massive hub for low-cost airlines in Asia, so it's designed to handle plane after plane of international arrivals really efficiently. Immigration can sometimes take a while, but overall, it's a pretty smooth process getting out. And that efficiency nets it an 8.3 out of 10, a really solid score that actually matches the boarding process, which just goes to show that the ground experience on both ends of this trip is a real strength. So we've covered the journey from check-in all the way to baggage claim. Now, for our final section, we're going to put all the pieces together and give you the final verdict on the Thai AirAsia experience. This slide just sums it all up perfectly, doesn't it? On one side, you've got that incredible price and really efficient service. On the other side, you're giving up your leg room and any freebies. This is the classic low-cost airline deal, laid out plain and simple. And this chart really tells the story visually. You can see the high points, like that awesome boarding score, right next to the big compromises in seat comfort and especially entertainment. It's a real flight of peaks and valleys. Which brings us to our final number. When you tally everything up, the Thai AirAsia flight from Colombo to Bangkok earns a solid 7.7 out of 10. It's a good score that respects the incredible value while still being honest about where you have to compromise. And that brings us to the final question, which is really all about you. For a backpacker on a long trip, where every dollar you save is another meal or another night in a hostel, this flight is an absolute game changer, no question. But if you value personal space and comfort over everything else, you might want to look at other options. So now that you know the trade-offs, you get to decide, is the price worth the pitch?